Good morning, everybody. Blaze here. Um, I've watched some videos on the internet and I've noticed that a lot of people have asked about witch bottles. There are different types of witch bottles that you can make, but I think the most basic one is an emergency protection witch bottle. I believe, I don't know why my video camera is doing this. I believe Raymond Buckland in the Big Blue Book mention this and has instructions for this, but I'm going to kind of go about this in the way that I do things. The way that you do an emergency protection witch bottle is you get a jar. I like to use pickle jars, but I couldn't find one this morning. Any jar will do as long as it has a good lid and isn't cracked or anything. The reason I like to use pickle jars is because they are packed in brine, which is a salt solution. So the salt gets into the pores of the glass, so it's a little bit more protected in my opinion. But any jar will do. A lot of people will argue, when do you do witch bottles? Do you do it in full moon phase, dark moon phase? It depends on what specifically you want your witch bottle to do. I think if you need a gigantic wall of protection, full moon phase would be good, to where if you're trying to do a protection through the banishing or exorcising of negative influences, dark moon phase would be better. However, if you are needing protection, do not wait. Don't wait for an appropriate day or an appropriate time or an appropriate phase. Go ahead and do it right then. Remember, the amount of energy that you put in your witch bottle, you will get back. Okay, so an emergency protection bottle. Take your jar, and if this is just for you, this goes for you, and if it's for the family, everybody in the family needs to do this. And some people will frown at this, you pee into the jar. Ladies, if you're in that time of the month, that's even better. That provides more protection. If you're not in that time of the month and you feel like you need extra protection, you can always put a couple drops of your blood, stick your finger and put that in there. Then proceed to put anything sharp that could damage. If you have a sewing kit and you have straight pins and needles, it's a good time to clean out your sewing kit. Grab those, throw those into the jar. Nails, razors, anything sharp and prickly. Cactus spines, anything like that will do. That is pretty much a protective measure to the point of that is going symbolic of damage to whatever's trying to harm you. Then you want to, all the while you're doing this, project into the jar what you want out of it, like protection against a neighbor, or protection against a spirit that's haunting you, or, whatever. Then you're going to want to put whatever herbs that you find appropriate. Get a herbal dictionary of some sort, like the Magical Herbal Handbook or something like that. And pick out a few herbs that are for the purpose. Like if you're going to do protection, rosemary, basil, onion, something like that. Anyway, put that into the jar. Then you're going to want to project even more. Do a bright circle projection into the jar. Program it for what you want, and ask that it protect you. Then you're going to want to seal it up and put it someplace safe. If it's emergency and you do not have time to go outside and bury it, put it under a counter, in the windowsill facing, wherever the danger is coming from. You can leave it there, or you can bury it at a later date. But if it's an emergency, do what you can. Just an example of this type of thing. We had some neighbors that were wishing us harm and physically trying to cause us harm. I actually, in my witch jar, put nails in it that they had actually scattered in the driveway to pop our tires. I took those and put them in the witch jar and said a few words about that having their energy on it, protect us from that energy. That is a very, very strong protective measure. If you have something if there's someone that's trying to do you harm, if you have something that they have touched, like the nails, or someone has thrown a rock through your window, or, at you in the yard or whatever, if you can find that and put that into your jar, and ask for protection specifically from that person. That is a very strong protective jar. There are other types of jars. That is, like I said, the emergency protection jar. But there are different types of witch jars. There can be ones, like I said, for protection. There can be ones for banishing negative influences. There can be ones for prosperity and happiness. Kind of just depends on, what you're wanting to do. But, of course, with the other witch bottles, you don't pee into them. But, you can use, holy water and whatever herbs you want. Or objects. Some people put, couple stones to represent what they want, and a few herbs and some salt and things like that. And then some people write incantations or blessings on paper and put them in there. It's a relatively simple procedure. Just remember, whenever you do this, to at least do your circle of light, purify your jar, and project your intent. So, sorry I'm kind of gravelly, it is morning. But I hope this helps anyone who is curious about witch bottles and doesn't know much about them. And specifically, like I said, if you need emergency protection, do not wait. Correspondence are really good, and power days are really good, but emergency protection is better. Go by what you need and what you know. Thanks. Hope it helps. Blessed be.